they know he's not going to play, but he's there as a mascot, or they put him on the roster hoping eventually he could make it, but by now they know he's not going to play. I think that's a reasonable question, and Kevin will answer that. Stephen Eustachio didn't start the match but came in late, and Caldwell, I think, called it out appropriately. He's like, looks great. Why didn't he play? Why didn't he start? What's going on with him? So lots to get into from today, but ultimately I think big picture, we've been talking about this for 4 years, you get out of the group stage, that's a win, right? You're happy with that. They're into the group of 32, the round of 32. They're going into the knockout stage. But it was a real missed opportunity to win this group and put yourself in a very good position in Vancouver. But now they got to dust themselves off, find a way to get healthy, find a way to win a match on Sunday. It's that easy. It's that easy. Yeah. So Kevin Kilbane in about a half an hour. Fred's percentages in an hour, right? Fred's coming
Love
up.
It.
Yeah, we got Fred's percentages, and my understanding is Fred is going to make an appearance in an hour.
His debut.
Yes.
I love it.
A debut for Fred. So
Fred will be bringing in Fred's percentages, and he comes in so hot. He's so gorgeous. And I looked at him, and I'm like, is there any chance that, like, this guy looks like a Jerry, and that's where the mistake was? But talk to some associates, and they're like, he doesn't look like a Jerry. They're like, you totally butchered it, man.
Yeah. If
He's
you missed it yesterday, we went for lunch with Fred and Elizabeth, and O called him Jerry and thought his name was Jerry. Yeah. So Jerry's percentages is out, and Fred's stepping in today.
Yeah,
right?
I got to tell you guys.
That's the backstory.
I read some funny stuff online, and I got some hilarious stuff this morning. I think there's actually a portion of Oiler fans who, I guess they were watching our clip with Johnny, and we were talking about the Babcock presser, and there's a portion of Oiler fans that are treating this almost like the Zach Hyman signing, where they're like, oh, you sore losers, you let him go, and now we got him, and now you're I was beside myself reading those types of comments, like, typical Toronto, pissed off you had a former guy and let him go. I almost had to write some obscenities to some people saying, are you actually crazy? First of all, we don't care who, if a player, coach, anybody signs anywhere. Doesn't bother, like, we just talk about it. We don't care. We don't care who wins. We don't care who loses. We just talk about the transactions and the results of the game. But that idea is absolutely nonsense. You actually want them and you want to act like you're just so lucky to get them, go ahead. I thought it was a great opportunity for Babs to come out and address people and say this is a fresh start. And I still think about the presser today. He didn't even, like, the idea that his wife called him and said, get the hell out of there, is complete lunacy.
It's a weird one.
It's
a weird comment,
dude. Yeah, if I was in Columbus, like if I was running Columbus or somebody, I think Mike Commodore said this. He's like, if I was the owner of Columbus, like, if I heard that, I would just come out with the heat and just say, like, is this guy serious? Your wife called you and said, get the hell out of there? Maybe we sat you down and said, you need to get the hell out of here. Crazy stuff. Yeah, crazy stuff.
It is. You know, at the end of the day, anybody could have had him. Yeah, I think his contract. When was his contract up? Last year?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It expired. A couple years ago, I believe.
Yeah. So I mean, people just put it this way: when Mike Babcock came to Toronto, we tracked his plane. We celebrated all of that. When he's a different person or much maligned now. I don't know. Fans will just always be fans. That's the way I would say it to you. Oh, fans will always be fans. It doesn't matter, what the context of it is. They will defend their organization, and then they'll kick them in the ass if it's not in the organization. I mean, at the end of the day.
No, that's exactly right. Like, I have not seen those comparisons. Like, Zach Hyman is crushing that Toronto let him go. Like, he's a Toronto kid.
Yeah.
He grew up loving the Leafs. He wanted to be a Leaf, and they let him go. It's astounding that they allowed that to happen.
That's so much different.
Completely different. Mike Babcock, no one in Toronto no one cares about Mike Babcock. Like, literally nobody. I haven't heard one. Put it this way. As one of the great long-standing traditions of every Leaf fan is looking back into the history books and saying, man, you got to get that guy back. Never should have let that guy go. I wish they didn't do this, or why didn't they do – and Hyman would be an example of that. I hear that every once in a while. I can't believe they let Hyman go. Can't believe they let Kadri go. And then even further down the list, watch, in 2 years, someone will say, man, I should have kept that Simone Benoit. I like that guy. Nobody has ever said they should have kept Babs or get him back. Like, not one person.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Edmonton.
Agreed.
You got
No,
him.
I know, but I think the fan base is like, okay, we've got this guy now. Now we have to basically support and forget the nonsense in Columbus and this is our guy.
Yeah, well, of course, because he is your coach.
And if they win, God forbid, if they ever win with this guy, it'll just be like, you could have had him. You had that's just sports.
And you know what's happening here? I think what's happening in Edmonton is people are rallying around McDavid because, he did an interview today and said this is what we want, and he basically said, I'm looking forward to being challenged because it hasn't happened in a long time, which is a weird kick in the ass to Knobloch on the way out. Knobloch, he's known for a long time. They've got the 2 Cup finals. I get it. It's a big boy business. These are big boys, and Knobloch made a lot of money, and he's still getting paid. But, what was Knobloch doing, giving them snacks and putting movies on during practice?
Well, I don't understand. I don't understand
the
the idea anyway. It's like these star players, they've got everybody heavily involved, whether it be agents, parents, whatever. And it's like, you better treat this guy good. It's his show and let him do it. And then it's like, don't leave me alone and let me do my thing. But then years later, it's like I needed to be challenged all this time, and that's what I wanted. It's kind of a weird. It's a weird thing to say. I'm not going to lie.
It is weird, but I don't mind. They haven't won. Mm-hmm. They're going to try something different. I don't mind him saying. I'd much rather a guy who's been close and tasted it, but hasn't got over the hump. Going, we're trying something different. Yeah, I want to be challenged differently. You can actually see or hear the desperation's the wrong word, but how much he wants to win. I think
that's an appropriate
I kind of
word.
applaud him.
I think it's the right word.
I applaud him
Noodles.
for that.
Yeah.
What's the right word?
Desperation. I think they're desperate.
Yes.
And that's not a bad thing. They are desperately trying to win. There's a lot of athletes in pro sports that are like, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
My check,
and desperate for him, too, because I honestly think that he's got this year and the year after, and if he doesn't win in Edmonton, he's probably going to go somewhere else to try it. I would say it's most likely that he will be assessing things very closely the next 2 years, and there will be a Kevin Durant type situation where he's like, well, that was 10 years at Edmonton, whatever it was. I'm going to go jump on that moving train to see if I can make it work there. You can't deny that that's out there.
Oh, it's 100% out there. Leon Draisaitl said it in his post.
Yeah,
if you
did.
Go back and listen to the 15 minutes at Draisaitl, that was absolute gold because he said, we're on the clock. And I would argue that Draisaitl put himself in that conversation. Mm-hmm. Just because you sign a long-term deal doesn't mean you can't put your hand up and go, I'm leaving too. But it's we just saw Brady, Austin Matthews. He's probably going to see what's going on
100%,
here.
100%, yep. Wants to win.
Detroit,
Dylan Larkin.
If people want to win, Dylan Larkin, you're looking at it, I don't mind it in a sense that, we are seeing guys that I think the one thing I was talking to a buddy today about it is careers are short, you blink and it's gone. And these guys are a decade into their career and going, I haven't been able to get over the hump. What do I need to do here? So I think
I don't know how long you played, Jay. I played 12 years, and that was it. I was done.
Well, I played 13, I believe it. It was same thing though. It's a dozen or baker's dozen. It goes quick, and if you don't get a sniff, you're hungry for it. Jerome McGinley is one of my best buddies. He never got to the, he never got. They lost in Game 7 at Calgary.
They lost. Yeah, that's right.
But it's. I don't mind. I praise the will to it. But again, like we said yesterday, careful what you wish for because this is a guy who will be hard on you. So let's see how it is on November, in a Tuesday in November where he benches you or he says, something about you.
I'll believe that when I see it, that he benches McDavid. I'll believe that when I see it. But, if it happens, I feel almost as if it was pre-planned. Hey, I got to get you got to wink, wink, nudge, nudge. I got to jab at you here so everyone sees
7-0. I'm going to bench you in the third.
Exactly.
Well, I think there is one thing. Sorry, Brian. One thing I think accountability is something that is lost throughout this whole league, the whole league. And that's what, whether you're Connor McDavid or anybody else. Those guys, if they're having an off night, miss a shift here or there.
Yeah.
It's not the worst thing in the world.
So lots going on in terms of the rumor mill in the NHL, but there is, one deal that has happened. Alex Tuch has been traded from Buffalo to Washington, which means Washington has acquired Alex Tuch and Jordan Kyrou.
I think that means Ovi might be kaput.
That's what I'm wondering. Yeah. Do they know that Ovechkin's done? And if they're both going to play on the right side, what does that mean for Tom Wilson? Like, is Wilson playing on the left side, or is Kyrou going to play up the middle at times? I'm curious about that, because you've got Ovi, who he may have told them, I'm done. They may have known the whole time. Like,
yeah,
I'm not
and
playing
you just mentioned Tom Wilson. You put Ovi back into that equation. You saw with the Nashville Predators how they had Forsberg and Stamkos and Marchessault, and then you get on some special teams and everybody wants to be in the same spot, and it's just like, this ain't working.
Yeah.
And you would have the same thing there. Ovi is not moving at all from that spot. And Jordan Kyrou probably wants to shoot the puck from there. Alex Tuch probably wants to shoot the puck from there. And there's only so much puck for right-handed shots in the offensive zone. So it'll be. I think it honestly would mean Ovi would probably not be coming back.
Yeah, these
it's like one Ovi gone. We got to bring in two other guys.
Moves would indicate that, and they're both those are big players. Like Kyrou's a good player. Tuch had a really good year and has had a really good couple of years in Buffalo. Buffalo. I'm very curious about them. They have moved out.
Yeah.
Byram yesterday, and we'll get to that in a moment. Tuch today, yeah. Kesselring they traded. Like, those are three everyday guys.
I know,
Tuch
it's kind of weird after all the momentum they built up.
Exactly. And Jarmo Kekalainen today, said, wish Tuch all the best, and said, we're going to be fine. And I'm sure they have irons in the fire. It sure feels like every team in the league does right now. But I am curious, I look at Ottawa. Now, that was kind of out of their hands because Brady pushed it. But they still went through with it, and then they jumped quickly. They brought in Eklund, and I think they're going to be more active, and they realize we got to keep going here because we made the playoffs the last couple of years. I think it's even more, important for Buffalo after 15 years not making it.
The division.
And Tuch's out, who's kind of a local guy. Byram had a really good year. Again, Kesselring, what are you going to do in Buffalo?
Lost 3 quality veteran players.
Yeah, you better get somebody here.
Yeah, quickly.
Well, they've got lots of work to do there, but they do have some currency. So it'll be interesting to see, because now you've got some money, too. Who are you going to go and get? Again, I don't know if Zach Werenski will put his hand up, but, you're going to have to replace Tuch. You're going to have to replace
Jamie,
Byron.
we talked about it the last couple of days with Brady leaving Ottawa. They might have currency, but it's like changing locations around the world. What is the Buffalo Sabres currency as opposed to everyone else in the NHL? With guys not wanting to go certain places in free agency, they better make it work or it'd be disappointing for the fan base to say, okay, we had one fun in the sun after 15 years, and now we have guys who move out, and now we can't replace them. I mean, I think Jarmo's a smart guy. I think they can do it, but they better pull it off. If you're a fan of the team, you're like, this better be somehow addressed.
It's a great point, but let me ask you this: if Alex Tuch signed an 8-year extension at $10.85 million today, would you be going, "What a great deal for Buffalo"? They should have, what a win for Buffalo.
It's a big contract for a guy who literally was pointless against Montreal in the second round. And, as an aging winger, it's a big
I like
commitment.
Alex Tuch as a player. I think he's a big body. I think he moves well. I think there's a physicality. He's a big guy that can get you 30 goals. There's something about him. I like him, but I don't love him. And I honestly don't know if I'd be paying him that contract. I don't know if I'd be paying him 10.5, and I don't care about the salary cap rising or this is the going rate or that's the going rate. In the salary cap, allocated money is so important, and if you've got that guy scoring 30 goals and having a disappointing playoff series and he's allocated $10.8 million, it's a big chunk, man.
Yeah. So what you're saying, Noodles, is it's maybe smart business by Buffalo.
Well, we just had this conversation for 38 seconds.
You're right.
And you're fine from them moving on from him. So I guess that they've had these conversations probably for months in Buffalo going, do we keep him? Do we not? He's a local guy. He's a captain. It's kind of it's the chicken or the egg. They could have paid $10.85 million for him
for sure,
and kept him. And they chose
but they let
not
him go.
to, so,
it's all about the replacement now. That's my concern.
I understand that, but you're right, and you're right to be concerned. But what I'm saying is, they saw it more your way. They said, we don't see, we think this deal might be poor at some point. They see something or saw something that they did not want to commit 8 years to Alex Tuch, or maybe he didn't. At the end of the day, you're right. You've got to replace it, but they have young players that have pushed through. Benson pushed through.
Maybe that Quinn can be a 30-goal guy. I like him. He's a good little player, and I think that maybe they look at him as a guy potentially. What was Ross's growth from within? Was that one of his famous?
Yeah, growth from within. That was Ross Atkins' movement that paid off in the end.
Yeah.
So I guess that's my point is, we're kind of flushing this out. They probably viewed it a lot like you, going like, geez, we like him, but I don't know at that price or at that term. And so you got to move on, and you're right. Now you've got to replace him. You've got to replace the big body, the speed, the goals. But, they have some currency to do that.
And they have young wingers, like you said. I think the Byram one is more interesting because, Dahlin's the man. And he is a superstar. He is a stud. He's so good. And Power, I thought, grew as the year went on. So Owen Power, they're committed to. They're committed to Samuelson. That's going to be their top three, I guess. So Byram was always going to be kind of 4 and be a little bit behind them. I think they got a great haul in return. Like Chicago giving up the 4th overall pick. And I know Greenway went as well. But that puts them in a position with that currency, like you said. It's not only cap space, but Byram was a really important player for them. So I'm very interested to see what Buffalo does because now they got the 4th overall pick. They have cap space. They have got to be circling someone, and I'm not sure it's free agency because there are names out there. There are guys that can and will sign. Feels more likely it would be trade. But it gets back to the point that everyone always brings up is Buffalo's on a lot of no-trade lists. So can you acquire the players you really want to? But, Chicago picking up Byram, and obviously that's going to come with an extension, but he has all the leverage now. You get to trade a 4th overall pick for that guy. You're going to pay him and keep him.
Let me ask you guys a question, though. I think they probably wanted to keep Byram, but what does that extension look like? I mean, double digits, right?
Well,
are we talking 10,
it's going to be in
11?
Chicago. It'll be probably $10 million. It'll probably be an 8-year deal at $10 million or something like that. And is he capable of getting to that number? As a player, I'm not talking about getting the contract. He's a good player. He's been traded twice now in his career. And I'm curious. Obviously, Buffalo looked at it and said, this isn't a guy that. Because defensemen, you can have 3 or 4 guys that you pay a lot of money to because they're all going to get 22, 23 minutes. You can find 23 minutes for your 3rd defenseman, 4th defenseman, who can have a huge impact on your team. Obviously, they felt comfortable moving off him. And, I understand what they're thinking. I actually give them credit for having the stones to make the trade. Nobody trades top 5 picks. I don't know if it's going to work. I was shocked they gave up the 4th overall pick for Byram. But nobody does it. There hasn't been a top 5 pick traded in 18 years in the NHL. And they said, screw it, we're doing it. Which means they either didn't love the draft or didn't love who they thought would be there, or they thought Byram's going to be better than whoever they were going to pick there. Or they promised Bedard, hey, we're going to get something going here for you. Which is a pretty consistent theme throughout the league. Star players kind of pushing their teams to be active and try to get better.
I would think it's a combination of everything, Brian. Because if you believe, let's say Carson Karls would have been the 4th pick, maybe Carson Karls turns into Bowen Byram, and they don't want to have 3 years until this kid arrives, type of thing, and becomes and pushes out to be a stud defenseman. They're like, we'll go get one who's 25 right now, who's won a cup and kind of in the window now, and maybe I don't know what Byram's ceiling is. Did he have 42 or close to 50
Yeah,
points.
and playing
last
behind
year.
Darlene. Like, Darlene's an offensive dynamo, so he's going to
Right.
get every PP1 you'd think, right, in Chicago and play more. So, yeah, it's possible.
It
like,
just,
can he be a 55-point guy? Like, that's a really good player. That's a really good
Yeah.
player, but it's a steep price.
Yeah.
And, San Jose's at 2, and Mike Greer spoke today and said a lot of people calling about that pick. Like, we might see more activity in the top 5.
Yeah,
Matthew
Friday
Nyes,
should be
his
fun
name
day.
is out there.
Tomorrow
I love
and
it.
Friday
I can't
could be
wait.
fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
I can't wait.
All right,
Yeah.
Kevin Kilbane coming up from Vancouver. Canada losing 2-1 to Switzerland today. That means they finish second in their group. Switzerland gets to stay in Vancouver and play on July 2nd. Canada's got to get on a plane now and head to L.A. They play on Sunday, June 28th, and likely playing South Korea. Not determined yet, but a very tough matchup, and they're hitting the road. They're leaving the country for the first time. So it was a pretty crushing defeat today. They were down 2-0 at one point. They scored late and then kept pushing, but in the end, not enough to get the job done. What did Kevin think of the match? Why didn't Alphonso Davies play? Why didn't Eustachio start? What happens in the final, as we move ahead to the knockout stage? That more coming up with Kevin, and Fred's percentages coming up at 6:30. OverDrive continues. TSN 1050 and up on YouTube Live. Powered by FanDuel, bringing you more ways to play your game your way. Fred's percentages in half an hour. Best bets coming up later in the hour. Obviously, a lot of activity in the NHL right now, so we're keeping a track of that. Kevin Kilbane coming up from Vancouver, Canada, losing 2-1 to Switzerland today. So they finish second in their group. They will head to L.A., play on Sunday. Jesse Marsh speaking with the media recently, and I'm just seeing Matthew Shinetti's tweet. Marsh admits to using Alphonso Davies as a decoy. Says now Davies was never going to play. Marsh says Davies will be ready for the round of 32. How are you supposed to believe that? Like you just admitted.
I love the guy. He seems like a great coach.
Yeah.
But when a guy's sitting on the bench, he's sitting on the bench.
Right.
Like when a guy hasn't played in that long, what do you think teams are going to implement special game planning against the guy that hasn't played in that long?
Well,
I don't know.
And that's the thing. He went on to say that the decoy worked because Switzerland spoke about Davies during their media availability. You lost. It did not work.
Yeah.
Like you lost the match, and you were not really prepared to play to start the game today. Certainly not to start the second half. 15, 20 minutes into the second half, that was your whole group stage, effectively. And I just don't – I don't know why he's admitting to this now that it's a decoy. Coaches do that. We understand that. Happens all the time. We just went through it with Sid at the Olympics. Crosby wasn't playing. He came home and got to Pittsburgh. He was like, yeah, I'm done for like 6 weeks. He wasn't going to play.
Yeah.
But they were saying, hey, he might play. He's going to give it a shot. I understand that. But once – you've shown your cards that you were just being misleading. Why would anyone believe he's going to play in 4 days?
Why would you admit it now, unless you believe he is playing 100%?
That's
the
only
question,
thing. Noodles. Do you think he really believes Alfonso will be ready to play on Sunday? He's not ready to play today. I don't know. Unless this was always the plan. Like, you're just not playing the group stage. We're going to completely,
I kind of believe him, Hayes, if he said he's going to play Sunday. Why else would you blurt that out? Because if he doesn't play, they're going to say, well, why the hell did you even bother saying that?
Right. I'll believe it when I see it, though. I mean, he's obviously prone to it. And now, you're playing head games and gamesmanship with the next team.
Yeah.
If you're playing it with Switzerland, of course, what are you going to say? Hey, he wasn't playing it. He ain't playing on Sunday. He's not going to say that.
Just watching him on the sideline, just like athlete body language, guys that are close to playing are kind of like chomping at the bit. And I know every sport's different and has a different dynamic. He honestly looks like a garden gnome sitting on the sideline, like expressionless, just sitting there. It's a completely different vibe. He certainly doesn't look like a guy that would be going into play Sunday.
Never warmed up. Some guys warm up and then get told sit down when the lead changes or something like that.
Yeah.
He was never ready to go in. He obviously wasn't going to go in. But I'm with you all. Like I'm just not convinced at all that Davies is that close. Is that he's been given the green light? There's a very good chance Bayern Munich hasn't allowed him to play. That happens. Like his club team may just say absolutely not. You haven't been cleared. And if that's the case, this was always the dream. You get into the knockout stage. If he's not going to play, you wasted a roster spot in the end. I don't know who they would have replaced him with. But Bombito didn't come in today. Eustachio didn't start. Kone's done for the tournament. Like, they're down a lot of talent. Like, a lot of talent. And my fear is that's going to be the story. I'm pulling for them. I hope they can win on Sunday. They'll readjust. I thought they really played hard the last 20, 30 minutes of the match today. But Davies out, Bombito out, Kone hurt, Eustachio banged up. Like, that's a lot of talent, a lot of injuries to really key players. So, Kevin Kilbane will join us here in a few moments. The Leafs, we saw Dregs tweeting out today that the Leafs are in on a lot. Like a lot of people just consistently are saying, Leafs are active. Matthew Nyes is out there, right? Like CJ, I think, updated his own trade board list for the Athletic, and he's got Matthew Nyes at 3 on the list. And a little blurb he wrote, he said, basically other executives around the league are pretty convinced he's getting traded.
Which is great. Like, now the guy's getting traded. Like, for whatever reason, and this goes back to the last season, and I get it, young players like that can command the most, but it just seems really weird. On the one side, you could see how teams are like, young, big, strong guy, can probably turn into a consistent 30-goal scorer. Hopefully, I would imagine that's what he's been kind of projected and paid to be.
Mm-hmm.
But then on the other side, you're like, why, with the uncertainty of the Maple Leafs moving forward, would he be a guy on the way out to the door? And John Chaika, whenever he's talking about players, he talked about the defenseman. I still don't know his name that came from Philadelphia. He's like, that's the proper age group that, Emil Andre. He's the proper age group of the group of guys. Well, what the hell's Matthew Nyes? And he's moving out the door. Something about it, there's something weird about it where I can't seem to make sense of it. I can't seem to make sense of it.
I understand. Yeah. I'm with you. And this is the what makes it complicated is you don't know what's coming back. You know, you can sit there and say, I'd never trade this guy, and then a package lands on your door, and you're like, well, obviously I'll make that trade. You know, like I didn't realize that player was available, so that's why they're willing to do it. So without knowing exactly what's coming the other way, it makes it difficult. You know, it is so noisy around Nyes. Like clearly there are a lot of GMs and executives and scouts and agents that are hearing that, you know, teams are calling or the Leafs are fielding calls are going back and forth. You know, Morgan Riley's a separate story. And I thought the guys on the morning show had a great chat about him today. His cap hit, where he is, you know, just getting rid of him to get rid of him. Is that smart? Could a new coach help him here? You know, we'll get into that a little bit later this hour with Fred's percentages, among other things. Our best bet's coming up. I bet on a draw today. Kind of felt like that's what Jesse Marsh was trying to pull off, you know, based on the lineup, based on the style of play. Let's head out to Vancouver today and look back on it was a tough match in the end. Switzerland getting past Canada 2-1. Here's our good friend and TSN footy analyst. Here's Kevin Kilban. Kevin, how do you look back on the match this afternoon?
Hello?
Hey, Kevin, you got us.
Sorry, guys. Sorry. I've just got a load of the guys around me. James Duffy and Atiba Hutchinson are like messing around with me here. Sorry about that.
Oh, good. That sounds about right. We're used to that. We know how those two operate.
Sorry, guys. Yeah.
All good.
I didn't even hear the question. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah. Give us your reaction to the game, losing 2-1 to Switzerland. What do you make of it from Canada's perspective?
Look, obviously good and bad, wasn't there, in the game? We just spoke about it here now. The hydration break changed the game from Switzerland's point of view because the first half, they were really dominating the game. And the changes that were made during that little hydration break, Jesse Marsh was able to get the team changed tactically, and they started to create some chances. But going in at half-time and then conceding so at the start of that second half, I think it took momentum out of Canada. Switzerland then really did start to dominate until the next hydration break. And then Canada created so many chances, and the goal that was scored was absolutely beautiful. It was a beautiful goal, brilliant by Saliba, incredible finish by Promise David. And I felt then that, you know, Canada were going to get back into the game because there were chances created. It wasn't great football, but it was getting the ball into the box, into the penalty area, and causing Switzerland problems. So good and bad, as I said, but, you know, I think we'd have taken it at the start, wouldn't we? Canada getting out of the group would have taken it. It's just disappointing that we're not staying in Vancouver and Canada.
Kevy, how do you explain the start of the second half? They had so much momentum going. I thought they were getting the better of the quality opportunities and all the momentum, and then the start of the second, and it was just flat, and the game was over, it seemed like, in 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think it was 8 minutes between the goals, and it was that's what changed the game for them. The start of the game, how I would assess it was, I thought Canada were probably looking to try to push on and try to get a goal themselves. They left themselves vulnerable defensively, and young Luke DeFugero, who has been just outstanding, considering he's only 20 years of age. Maurice Bombito would be naturally the regular centre-half, the main centre-half. He's been a great understudy for him. He just got caught out on 2 goals. He was trying to win the ball, trying to be too aggressive with his movement, and the quality of Breland Bolo, the Switzerland centre-forward, was able to get away. And the first goal by Vargas as well, it was just probably errors that led for that because everyone got dragged out of position from the initial mistake. And the second goal probably was something similar before Manzambi scored through Crepeau, and I think Crepeau should have saved it. I think it was a soft goal to concede. But that then took them through to the end. They had the 2-goal lead, and they were able to really just see the game through, albeit Canada get themselves back into it somewhat.
So you mentioned some adjustments from Jesse Marsh. What do you think they have to do heading into the next game as far as adjustments?
Well, you would hope for the next game Stefan Eustáquio is going to be available because he was a big loss, particularly in Switzerland's midfield today, who have got so much experience. So getting Eustáquio back, I think, is a must, first of all, within that. The adjustments itself, let's see if Moise Bombito is going to be fit for the second game, or for the knockout game, sorry. Let's see if he's available. There won't be too many adjustments, I don't think, with Jesse Marsch, because Jesse Marsch plays a certain way, which is quite aggressive. It's on the front foot. You want to create chances as quickly as possible on turnovers. So I don't see Jesse Marsch changing the style, really, from what he's done to date and through this tournament.
So I want to get to Davies in just a moment and what Jesse just said about it after the match. But you mentioned Eustáquio, and I thought he looked great when he came in, and we all heard Stevie say, and Caldwell was kind of wondering aloud, why didn't he start? You as a former player yourself, Kevin, what would have been the reasoning for a guy that was fit enough to give him 30-plus minutes and look great? Why didn't he start today?
Yeah, I think the official line is it was muscle tightness, I believe. But if you sit, the way I look at it, if you're available to sit on the bench, you're available to play. That's it. That's the end. If I would actually lie to my coach to tell him I was fit in a World Cup game, I'd be saying, I am ready, I'm available, I have to start if I was available. That's the way that I would look at this. So it surprises me that he was available to come on and play to the level that he played at, because he just looked fine. He looked normal when he came on. He actually changed for Canada because he was able to help that momentum swing go for the last 15, 20 minutes of the game. So I was very surprised when I saw the lineups today. Really surprised that Eustáquio had, whether it was Jesse ruled him out, whether it was the medical team or Stefan Eustáquio himself, we don't know as of yet. But I was so surprised that, given he was available to come on, in my opinion, if you're available to come on in a game, you start the match. You have to start the game.
What about Alphonso Davies? Looking at him sitting on the sidelines, Kev, it doesn't look. I was saying a lot of players would be jumping up and down, just kind of excited and almost dying to get in. Do you think? And I know the coach came out and said he should be playing on Sunday. Do you think that happens?
Yeah.
Because from watching on the television of him on the sidelines, it doesn't look like he's in any shape or form ready to play a football match.
Yeah, the way I look at this one is that, look, it's World Cup games. You're desperate to be fit, and if he's making himself available, you have to play him. That's the way that I would look at it. You've got to play Alphonso Davies. But again, I'm sure there is medical advice from Bayern Munich as well that Canada Soccer have got to consider here. That look, he can't take the risk with him, considering the extent of the injury that he had. So, look. I find it a little bit bizarre with what's happened around everything around Alphonso Davies. Simply at the start, we all knew he wasn't going to play the first game, yet there was still that thread that was being dangled in front of us. Yeah, he's going to play. He's going to play at some stage. He's going to play at some stage in the group stage. So Jesse Marsch has said he was never going to be available. That was never the plan. So now he's going to be available for the knockout stage. Again, we don't know if that's been just a line that's been fed to us right now. But if he is fit and he makes himself available, Jesse simply has to play him. And I would advise that you play him in more of an attacking role, because Canada is two fullbacks right now. Johnson and Larrea are playing unbelievably well.
With Kevin Kilbane, Canada losing 2-1 to Switzerland today. Switzerland wins the group, stays in Vancouver. They play on July 2nd. Canada now has to fly to L.A. They will play on June 28th. That's a quick turnaround. Likely South Korea. No guarantees yet. But if it is going to be South Korea and L.A. in 4 days, Kevin, how do you see that match playing out?
Well, we've gone from packed stadiums with a sea of red everywhere. Canadian fans, we'll see the opposite there, won't we? It'll be largely South Korean fans if it is Korea. I hope it isn't. I hope the Czech Republic manage to get a win against Mexico and they get out, because I would take the Czech Republic. I don't think they're a good side, and I think Canada would have a serious chance against them. But South Korea play a similar sort of style to Canada. It's high tempo. They like to play turnover football, counter-attacking style. So I think it would be a very much a tactical game. Canada probably would dominate the ball more, I would say, in that game. So it's going to be an interesting scenario, whichever one it is. If you asked me at the start, would you take South Korea in a knockout game, I would have said yes, absolutely. And I'd definitely take the Czech Republic there or Czechia.
Kevy, before we let you go, have you drank any brown liquor with Stevie during the tournament after late hours of the evening?
I've got to say, I've managed to keep myself very dry while I've been away. And I might have one or two tonight. Yeah, I think it'll be tonight. Could be the night where we just have just two or three. We have a saying, Stevie and I, if we go out, we just have just a couple, nothing daft. So that's what we'll be doing tonight. Just a couple, nothing daft.
That's right. Well, I ran India a week and a half ago, and I believe that was the plan with you two guys. We're just going to check things out. Nothing crazy tonight.
I just hope there's no video footage. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. No VAR on that night tonight out in Vancouver. Great stuff, man. You guys are crushing it. Enjoy L.A. Safe travels. We'll do it again soon. Thank you, Kevin.
Thank you. Thank you so much, guys. All the best. All the best, boys.
There he is, Kevin Kilban, our TSN footy analyst. The panel travels south now on the way to
Imagine getting
LA.
the text from Stevie, do you want to go for just a couple?
But did he say?
Code.
Did he say a couple, but nothing daft?
Yeah.
Was that his
Yeah,
word?
nothing daft. Well, because now
that's
we're
got to be
moving.
a drop for us.
We're out of the World Cup. That might be a drop. That might have to be something we include. But now, Canada, they got a few days now to recover, and but it's going to be incredibly different. Like, they've been very cozy here, right? They've been home for 3 weeks, and playing in Toronto and then playing and setting up in Vancouver, and you were that close. You had opportunities, and Switzerland is a veteran team. But like Kevin said, when you scale out, you look at the big picture. You're into the knockout stage, and you got a chance to play, Czechia or South Korea. You would have taken that before the tournament started. Now,
I don't know about that line. There's something about failure that prompts that line.
Every time it does.
It's
always
it's like an average performance leads to the line. If I had told you before the season or before the tournament, would you take it?
Yep.
So every time you blurt that one out, there's a subpar performance involved with it. So 100%. It's kind of a dicey line.
100%. There's no disputing that. All right, we got travelers picks we got to get to. Fred's percentages coming up.
Before we get to, let's take a break. I want to just acknowledge a chap that had a hole-in-one. We'll do that first.
Really?
Nice.
You got a hole-in-one? Well, I might have to acknowledge someone who had an albatross today.
You want me just to put this cat up right now? I'll do it right now and get it over with.
Okay, go ahead.
This is Lee, 87 years old, at Chippewa Golf Club. Sean, go ahead and throw this guy up there.
Wow.
135 yards, and if you zoom in and look closely, celebrating with a beer and a dart. And it's a 135-yard hole, club used, driver.
I was going to say 100%. What a legend that guy is.
This guy had a beer and a smoke and said, I'm 87 years old. I hit a driver in the hole on a par 3, 135. Lee at Chippewa Golf Club. Excellent job.
Excellent work, man.
Yeah,
that's great.
that's
Probably
awesome.
threw some grass in the air to check the wind and said, all right, I'm hitting driver.
Hand me the one wood. Hand me the furniture from 135.
I love
That's
that play.
amazing.
Albatross, I already know who it was. Darcy Tucker.
No, it was not. It was not Darcy Tucker. It was not. Our boy TJ Kemp, Kemper, on one at Coppenwood, 250 yards out. He hit
no way.
On one, which is one of the most gorgeous golf holes on earth. He allegedly had himself an albatross today, which is pretty incredible. All right, Travelers picks, Fred's percentages, OverDrive continues up on YouTube Live.
Friday on TSN 1050. Tune in for special NHL draft coverage as your Toronto Maple Leafs have secured the #1 overall pick.
And Matt Sundin is smiling ear to ear.
Coverage starts at 6 p.m. Will they select Gavin McKenna? Find out Friday.
The building blocks for Stanley Cup champions are put into place.
On TSN 1050, the Leafs live here. Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
You're going to want to hear this.
Fred's Percentages.
I don't love being commissioner as much as I used to. I actually love it even more.
That's the voice of a Hall of Famer.
Are you kidding? Have you been out drinking?
Ready.
You're all pigeons. Filthy, filthy pigeons.
It's Fred, F-R-E-D.
Fred, a.k.a. Jerry. I'm thinking of changing my name to Jerry. I'm getting so much action. But for today, here are Fred's Percentages.
Boy.
What a legend, Fred, man.
Yes.
What a great guy Fred is. We love Fred.
Love
We
it.
never call him Jerry or Gary or anything else.
Guys,
Fred's
you guys went too far saying I went from Fred to Gary to I never said
You
Gary.
did.
What?
I thought I heard a Gary too, Noodles.
No,
I'm not
you
gonna lie to
didn't. You're an idiot.
telling
You guys
I thought I heard
always
Gary.
take it too far.
if
We're talking
we were
twice.
there
I
for an
slid in
hour.
twice I slid in a Jerry, and then after when we get to work, you guys turned it into a Gary. It's so like
No,
you guys. By next week, it'll be I named him
Larry.
Rick too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so stupid.
No,
it was a couple.
When you came in, I came in and you called him Fred, and then about 30 minutes into the lunch, you called him Gary once, and then it was into Jerry when you stuck your hand out and you left. That's what it was. Gary twice.
Hey,
More
gonna
Jerry
confirm-
than
No,
anything
sorry.
else, but
Gary once, Jerry twice. That's what it was.
and a Fred to start. So anyway, that's the story. That was Fred. We appreciate him doing that. So instead of Jerry's percentages, it's Fred's percentages. But Jerry is still here to kind of voice everything. So you guys ready to go?
Let's go.
I don't know who the hell this Fred is, but I'm not too happy that he's knocked me, Jerry, off the marquee. But I'm too busy to sweat it because the NHL is on fire right now.
Yeah, he's not wrong about that. And I
Dude,
don't
the
blame him.
NHL's got a bit of an NBA vibe to it right now, which is kind of cool, kind of crazy. I love it.
Like last night, I couldn't go to sleep because I'm thinking something's going to break here, and I want to know what it is.
I kind of got a sneaky feeling tonight could be big too. Like there could be some wheeling and dealing this evening.
Really?
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Are we going to get that quoted? Someone online is going to say the O-Dog said he feels like tonight could be a big night.
Yeah, it could be.
Okay.
Go ahead, fire one up.
Another top 5 pick will be traded before Friday night.
Well, one of them got traded yesterday, the 4th overall pick for Bowen Byram. Do we think another top 5 pick will be flipped before the draft?
I know Mike Greer. Hasn't Mike Greer said that people are calling off the hook to get that number 2 pick?
Buffalo at 4, they keep that or flip it?
Yeah, it's good. I'm gonna
What's your
say
Fred?
75% Freddie on that one, because I just think I think there's a team like San Jose where they could draft the kid, but they could also get a real quality player that can impact right now as opposed to potentially waiting around for it. I think 75% chance it happens. I think a team's going to pull the trigger. I think a lot of teams are open to change and changing their dynamic, something we've all been talking about and asking for years.
I'm like you, I'm high on it, but just not as much. But I think there's also a chance that San Jose, they move the pick, but they just go back like, hey, we're going to trade back to, I don't know, give me a number, to number 7, and we also get the 22nd pick. Like, I think there's a chance that they can flip a couple picks into it, or maybe a live player if another team is really, really excited to move up into that number 2 spot. You might see some aggressiveness to, you might flip top 10 picks type of thing. I don't know. Like, I think there's something there, and we've just, all hell has been breaking loose, so why not add another layer to that?
I want to be high on this, but history would suggest it is a rarity that a top 5 pick gets dealt. And I know yesterday happened, but it has.
But you don't think there's a bunch of teams, including the teams that are mixed in, that have an appetite for change and kind of doing something a little bit?
For me, like Buffalo, I could see. Like San Jose, they're still very young and growing. Yeah, you want to get going, but you can't get stupid. Like if you love, let's say it's Stenberg at 2, and you think that guy can play with Celebrity's 20. Like he's not 30 years old.
Yeah.
Like if you think you can lock up Stenberg and say, there's your line mate for the next 15 years.
By the way, I wouldn't even put that Stenberg. Like, if they love that Chase Reed kid, maybe they want to put him on the back end and just say that's there for the back end for years to come.
Definitely. Like,
all depends on what their thoughts on that kid is.
100%. Like, I can't imagine that maybe they take Malhotra, but they just drafted Misa last year. I think Celebrini and Misa are kind of their 1-2 up the middle. But, I don't think it's not 0%, but I'll say like 20%. I'm lower than you guys just because of history.
Yeah.
Like history would suggest teams, Toronto's not going to trade theirs. I don't think Vancouver's trading 3. I think they're going to stay. So yeah, that I'm a little bit lower considering it just got flipped last night. All right, Fred, what else do we have?
Connor Hellebuck starts next season as the member of the Winnipeg Jets. Either that or those rascals down in Florida get him.
I don't see how Florida makes that work. I don't, you're not going to trade Anton Lundell, but so who are you trading?
That Anton Lundell is untouchable.
Man, he's got to be the greatest player of all time. Untouchable.
Yeah.
Untouchable player.
Well,
do I think he's starting? Is the Fred's
trade
percentage on Hellebuck starting for the Winnipeg Jets?
Yes.
I'm going to say 40%. Because like all this stuff, I think where there's smoke, there's fire. And I don't know. There was whispers and there was people behind the scenes that knew this Brady Tkachuk thing was happening since like February or March saying Florida's going to flip that first-round pick for Brady Tkachuk. And I was like, well, I don't know, but it happened. I'm just at a point right now, maybe it's because I like the chaos and I like the movement. I'm all in on where there's smoke, there's fire.
Mm-hmm.
So I think 30% chance that he starts, 40% chance that he starts with the Winnipeg Jets.
Okay.
I'm going to go slightly higher, but I'm going to go 49%. So just under,
I don't understand.
I like that. It's a very smart play.
I never understood a 49% Fred.
Yeah.
I just did a Price is Right move on you. That's what I did. A little higher, but I still believe
$1.
I agree with you, but I'm that's why I'm at 49 and not 51. I think there is something to it. What was weird for me at the end of the season, Hellebuck didn't, a lot of time he didn't need to shoot from the hip. He just could have said, "Hey, we're disappointed" and all of that. But he kind of made a point. He's always honest in his year end, but there's always some weirdness to it. Remember a couple of years ago, he was giving up 7 to Colorado. He's like, "You're not going to believe this, but I felt amazing."
Yeah,
sometimes there's some weird stuff with him. I think this is the summer where chaos is happening, and he would fall into the line with the Larkin, the Tkachuk. Now it's Hellebuck in Winnipeg. I'm concerned about it, and that's why I'm at 49.
Yeah, I think, this guy would be the most impactful move if he's still in Vezina mode, right? Like if you still believe he's got 3 or 4 years of being a top 5 goaltender and a horse and a guy you can rely on for 55 starts a year, that is a big pickup for any team.
Yeah.
And I'm in the minority on this as well. I'm going to say 15%. I'm even lower than you guys.
Whoa.
I just feel like, goaltending's strange because you look at what Carolina just did, where they probably feel emboldened, like we don't need a superstar goaltender. What do we need? We'll pay a guy $2 million and we'll make it work. But Bob won 2 cups. Vasilevsky won 2 cups. I think there's room for like the larger-than-life superstar horse starting goaltender. And I think there'd be a big market. Yeah. And the reality is, if he's kind of pushing or if Winnipeg realizes, hey, this is just something we're going to have to do, they're not going to have a tough time, I don't think, finding a partner. They don't have to rush to it before the draft or free agency. Could trade him in August, because he's got term and you could figure that out. But I kind of feel like the horse might be out of the barn on that one. I wouldn't be surprised. All right, Fred, what else you got?
Canada wins the group of 32 and gets all the way to the group of 16.
So, Jerry or Fred is saying they're going to win on Sunday. They're winning on Sunday, Canada. Whoever they play, Korea,
I think
Czechia.
they are going to win. I think they are going to win. Like
Okay.
what? Are they going to take on South Korea?
It's one or the other. It's not. It's uncertain yet who they're going to play. But it sounds like it's Korea or it's going to be Czechia.
Those are both pretty good teams, aren't they?
Yep. Like historically, pretty good teams. Although
where
Kevin
would they
said he
be,
doesn't
like
love
world
Czechia.
rankings, like both of those teams in Canada? Would Canada be slightly behind both of them?
Slightly, yeah. Not by much. Like neither team is a top 10 nation or anything like that.
I'm going to go 85% chance they win.
Okay. I love
Hopefully that kind of pisses them off and they get motivated and they get Davies back and there's a new mojo. I'm quite confident. I've liked a lot of what I've seen them play. Like, if you go through the 3 games they've played, they've had, like, large stretches of each game where they've been the dominant team.
Yep.
Amateur perspective, but they look pretty damn good to me.
Health is a concern for me. And, yeah, Korea plays South Africa tonight. Czechia plays Mexico tonight. I think Mexico's going to beat Czechia. So I feel like it's going to be South Korea they end up playing. Noodles, are you optimistic Canada finds a win?
Very.
Very optimistic.
I just don't think – well, something Kilbane said, he didn't like the goal against.
Yep.
So if the goalie sharpens up on one, like now you got to tie a game and you're feeling pretty good about yourself. I've kind of believed that Canada was kind of destined to – I don't know if deep run is the right word, but I think to make some noise here. I think that they can win on Sunday, and I'm going to go 91%, feeling good about it.
I want to be
That's
so
a big
patriotic,
number,
and I am optimistic, but these injuries are very concerning to me. Like they are losing a lot of talent and depth and like significant pieces in terms of performance and kind of pushing play and making it work the way Marsh wants it to work. 60%. Like it's you're into the knockout stage. You know, Canada is growing. They have grown a lot over the last 10 years, more so than at any point in the history of the program. And I'd like to believe in the next 10 to 15 years they'll grow even more. But we're not, you know, it's not Argentina, France, Brazil. Like, we're not there yet where you can feel like so confident in a one-game winner-takes-all match when you are a little bit depleted based on injuries. So 60%, that's still, I think, pretty confident. I'm curious what FanDuel will have that price at. I'm guessing it'll be close to a pick'em. We'll see what happens come Sunday. All right, Fred, do we have any more of these in the chamber? Go ahead.
Alex Ovechkin and LeBron James play exactly one more season in pro sports.
Both of them linked together here.
0%, because I don't think pro sports. So that means
let's say North American pro sports. Let's not
0%.
say you go to the K.
0% for Ovi. I think the trades that have happened in Washington signify that he's not coming back. Bringing in 2 right-handed scoring forwards, I'm pretty sure they've been told with Washington he is not returning.
Why wouldn't it be out yet, though? Like, why wouldn't he just announce his retirement? What is the problem with that?
I think there's one thing that we can factor in. His money can come off the books. If he wants to come back for one more year, it might be 1 year at $3 million or $2 million, $3 million with bonuses or something like that. So they would have the money, and they say, if you want to come back, it'll be a low salary on a 1-year deal, but the door's open right till September because we'll leave a little cap space for you and go ahead, but we're going to replace that,
Yeah, I think LeBron's playing. Like, I don't think LeBron loves to play golf right now. Like, everything on his Instagram account is him teeing it up all over Europe, Mexico, Southern California, guys everywhere. I think he's got the bug now, and he's dying to just play golf every day. So I think he's going to play one more year and then say that's enough. Ovi, on the other hand, I agree with you that this could be spun both ways. Go get Kyrou, go get Tuck because he's done, or it's his last dance and let's do everything we can to make a push here, and he's going to be out. He's not going to get paid that much, like you said, Noodles. And when he's out, the baton gets passed to Tuck and to Kairu and Tom Wilson and whomever. So I'm going to say 65%. 65%. All right, there you go. Good stuff, Fred. That was great. Great to see Fred again.
Awesome, Fred.
It was awesome to have him on, as always. We've got our Travelers picks to get to. We got our best bets coming up again. Brazil's up 1-0 on Scotland. That's not good. That's not good for Scotland. Haiti up 1-0 on Morocco. And then later tonight we're going to find out who Canada's going to play in the group of 32. It's either going to be South Korea or Czechia, the second-place team coming out of that group, Group A. So more on that as we look ahead to this evening. Overdrive continues, TSN 1050 and on the TSN app.
Friday on TSN 1050. Tune in for special NHL draft coverage as your Toronto Maple Leafs have secured the #1 overall pick.
And Matt Sundin is smiling ear to ear.
Coverage starts at 6 p.m. Will they select Gavin McKenna? Find out Friday.
The building blocks for Stanley Cup champions are put into place.
On TSN 1050, the Leafs live here. Now, back to OverDrive with Hayes, Noodles, and the O-Dog.
All right, the OverDrive PGA Picks brought to you by TaylorMade. Feel the straight distance, feel the forgiveness, and feel the confidence as you step into every shot. Learn more about the new QI Max irons at TaylorMadeGolf.ca. All right, Travelers, your old neck of the woods.
Go ahead. You get first pick. I got it last week.
I'll take Scotty. I mean, I think he's sniffing. He's around there. You know, he just couldn't get the burners firing last week. Like, he was just lurking but never really got hot at any point. But this is a track I think he will torch. I think he feels very comfortable down there in New England. I will take Scotty Scheffler.
Scotty, I'm going to go with the 2-pack. I'm going to take our boy with dolled out in Peter Millar, Cam Young. And I'm also going to take a guy who is launching into outer space, the QI4D T-Made, finding his fast Wyndham Clark.
Yes.
That's what driver he put in play to launch those drives last week.
Everyone's hitting him. Yeah, it's the best driver on tour, period. I'll take Schauffele because I honestly think Sanders, like, he's had a tough year and a half. I think he's going to get back cooking, man. I think he's too good of a player. He's too consistent. I like his chances of winning the tournament this week. So that's what do we both have 2 now?
Go ahead. You can take a third pack.
You want
take
me to
a
go
three-piece.
I'm going to take Keegan Bradley. I love Keegan. He's always been my guy.
Nice.
He's won there before. He loves the Travelers.
My
right?
God, that's like me taking Sung Jae.
I know. Sung Jae was my guy for a while when he used to wear a white belt.
You
and
have
a black
totally
pant.
abandoned him.
Totally. He never wins. He never competes. He's never in contention. Sung Jae, I'm not going anywhere close to Sung Jae.
You know
but
who
I'll
I'm
take
going to
Keegan
take
Bradley.
with rumblings of a new flat stick in his bag? I'm going to take Giordano.
Do you think he's actually going to put that thing in play? I'll
who
believe
knows?
It when I see it.
Who knows? Somebody posted a vid of him putting with his old putter, and they're saying, please no. God, no. Don't do it.
Yep. Okay. All right. I'll take I'm going to take Sammy Burns, man. Like, Sammy's been knocking on the door, and Sam, he was right. Like, how he missed that putt on 18 on Sunday. I'm still sick over that. He's one of the best putters on tour, and he just pushed the putt. Like, he lifted his head up, I think, and thought it was going in, and anyway, Sammy Burns. There you go. How many do we have now? What do we have? 4 picks? 4 picks? Yep. Take a couple more and we'll wrap her up. 2-pack. It's a loaded field this week. Loaded.
Give me some guys near the top.
Fleetwood, Matty Fitz, your boy, Colin Morikawa is playing pretty well.
I'll take
Rusty.
Rusty. There you go. I'm going to take Matty Fitz. And Rusty Henley.
Okay.
Rusty Henley with the bull-legged in size 25 wheels and rolls the rock. There's my 2 guys to round out my team.
I love it. And I will make one more pick. And I am going to take – what am I going to take here? I'll take Morikawa. I'm going to take Morikawa, and then I will jump – I'm going to take Connors, too. He played really well last week.
Okay, I'll take Uncle Nicky Taylor.
All right.
I'll take Uncle Nicky.
I like that. Okay. Picks are locked in. It's a great field. It's a great tournament. Like, the Travelers is got to be that Champions track in the future, I would think. I mean,
you know it is, because that was one of the first ones where they were like, I think Travelers went to the tour and said, you think we're pumping that kind of money in for a Goat Ranch field? No.
They're
by the way, good on Corey Connors, because he slapped it around a bit at the Canadian Open the first 2 rounds, missed the cut, and kind of regrouped at the U.S. Open.
Sure
played
did.
Fairly well.
Played really well.
But,
OverDrive
dude, once
PGA
again,
Picks brought to you by TaylorMade. Feel the straight distance, feel the forgiveness, and feel the confidence as you step in every shot. Learn more about the new QI Max irons at TaylorMadeGolf.ca.
Once again, like he can't, he's got to figure out the putting. He strikes the ball so good. He's got to figure out rolling the rock, man.
It's the same thing every single week,
Yeah.
every year of his career. It's just if he was just an average putter on tour, he'd be a top 15 or 20 player in the world.
No question.
It just doesn't happen. Well, we seem to be doing this every day this week. By 4 p.m. tomorrow, do we think we have a blockbuster trade that's happened in the league?
Multiple.
Yeah? Yep.
Multiple. Like, it's got to be defined appropriately, right? Like, I think the Byram deal was a really big deal. Tuck was a sign and trade, but that's big news today. He goes to Washington.
Yeah.
It's got to be, can't, like Jack Drury got traded. That doesn't count. It can't be like Drury going from Colorado to Nashville. We got to, for it to hit the blockbuster Richter scale, we got to talk about a serious name.
Yeah.
But that's what you're anticipating? That's what
I don't
want
to go by Twitter alone, guys, but there's Leaf players' names being bandied about, and I don't know what happens. I don't know. And we get into this every year, especially because last year stunk and the team wasn't very good, and we're just talking about improving the roster. And we even said the more change, the better. And I applaud them if that's the attempt, is to really kind of overhaul things. But who's going to take on some of the players with the contracts is a totally different story. Like, if you're talking about a guy like Brandon Carlo exiting the door, who's taking him on?
He's got his cap hit isn't very high, right? Like Boston ate half of it. His cap hit's like $2 million. Someone would take him. You're not getting Fraser Mitten in an unprotected first now for him. Like,
no, you're not getting
crazy.
Value for him.
Yeah.
You're not getting like a first rounder for him, but I think there is a marketplace. Keep in mind, he's 6'5" right shot defenseman. If he's in your third pairing and can stay healthy, like he's not going to hurt you.
No.
Again, what you just said, Brian, at this price point, I think there's a marketplace for a lot of players on the Leafs. It just collectively that didn't work. Morgan Riley's very fascinating for me because if Morgan Riley is slotted properly, he can go and have another 6-7 years of real good quality hockey in his career because he can skate. So for me, I think a guy like that, if Morgan Riley gets traded or something happens with him, that's a significant piece for me.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, well, as I said earlier, the morning guys, they had Festchuk on today and had a really good chat about it because the cap is going up, so $7.5 million is not crazy. Morgan Riley is not. Nope. He's not 41 years old. Yes, he really struggled last year. And Berube has to play a role in that, but he has to. He's a big boy. He's a pro. He couldn't defend.
Yeah.
He got burned horribly all season. So, he's got to own that. But the idea of just get rid of him to get rid of him is not smart, unless you think you're getting rid of him before it's going to get worse. That's why you would move off him. Now, maybe he does get a fresh start, and it's all good, and he plays very well in the future. Maybe he is pushing it, saying, hey, I think it's time, which wouldn't surprise me for both parties. Been here for 11 years, been a great Leaf. Time for me to find something new. Wouldn't put that past him, wouldn't necessarily hold that against him. But could I see Chaika thinking, hey, new coach, new system, bring in some new players, maybe we're selling him low? Like what if he comes out of the gate playing really well next year and you feel like you could trade him next year after a better season and his value's up? Because you're trading him at its lowest value right now of his career. He just had the worst year of his career.
Yeah, and don't forget, the one thing that he does, because everyone talks about, Jamie's mentioned it numerous times, about getting some defensemen in there that move the puck up the forwards. You could never really argue the fact that that's one thing that Morgan Riley has been able to do. He can make a 20-foot pass. He can make a 10-foot pass. So you can go ahead and say you want to move him and get him out of here, this and that. But you take another guy that can pass the puck, well, take a look around what's after that. There's just not a ton of it.
Yeah.
Not a ton of it.
Yep.
I agree.
That's true.
I agree 100%.
But you're right.
So
Jake McCabe's name is out there.
Yeah.
Beckman Larson almost got flipped at the trade deadline. Carlo's name's out there. We don't know about Tanev and what's going to happen with him in the future. They know. They got an idea of where he's at and his rehab and what they can expect out of him. So They are. It's not surprising they're trying to upgrade their team and they're trying to be active, but we'll see what comes of it between now and 4 p.m. tomorrow. All right, there you go. A little post footy match. 90 minutes. I think it was pretty good stuff. Breaking down what happened today.
I think every OverDrive show should have 2 hydration break segments.
I like that idea. Canadians do respond well to a hydration break.
We just have like 20, 30 seconds of just quiet. You can have a drink. You can hydration breaks.
Okay. We might have to implement that the rest of the week.
We'll start with one tomorrow. We'll make it 5-10 seconds long. Just
Okay.
put up a thing, hydration break.
Okay, they start tomorrow. Thanks to everyone behind the scenes for helping out. We appreciate it. Everyone for tuning in today. TV, radio, podcast, web, up on YouTube Live, streaming soon up on Crave. We're out of here. Enjoy your evenings. Enjoy the games tonight. We're back tomorrow at
Freddie, great cameo, 4 p.m.
We'll chat then.
Just a couple, nothing daft.